Yo, what's going on, guys? Today, I'll be showing you my best matches, win or lose, against the Clash Royale World Champion from CRL last weekend. Alright guys, I'll be going into a bit of an analysis and diving into my thoughts while I was facing this guy. Unfortunately, I didn't record my voice live, but I think next CRL I will. Might be better though, because I was thinking so many things all at once while I was facing this guy. Just your average player, you know? When I saw the Skeleton Dragons, I knew it would either be Lava Hound or a Goblin Show deck, and when I saw the Balloon, I knew for sure it was Lava Hound, which is pretty much the worst matchup in the game for Modern Wall Breaker's Magic Archer. Luckily did get the pretty nice early King Tower activation, interesting Balloon by him. But yeah, it was pretty good for me. I knew I had to be really aggressive in single Elixir. I just went in for the split Wall Wallers, didn't want to Knight or anything for pressure, because I knew he had his Barbs ready. He kind of misplaced them though, and we got one nice wall breaker connection on the left side. At this point I didn't know if he would have Fireball or Freeze, but he showed that he had Fireball, which makes this matchup pretty much impossible, especially against Mohamed Light, who's a really good player with pretty much anything. Pretty good mono by us forcing out something, unfortunately only the Goblins, but was still kind of worth it because that's one of his few ground responses, so without Goblins he can't really stop our Knight pushes. Yeah, so we went with the Lava Hound. I went for the Knight Wall Breakers. He had like pretty much no way to stop it. He went in for the Skeleton Dragons, but honestly really bad Skelly Drags. Got the double Wall Breaker connection and really good damage. But I had a pretty bad feeling that I would just get wrecked by his Lava Hound push. You know, everyone calls this guy the GOAT, but when I saw that Lava Hound in the back, I was thinking, man, this guy's more like a donkey. No, I'm just playing. I'm cool with this guy. Went in for the high bomb tower, got the Spear Goblins right on the Balloon. I knew if he Fireballed, he would have no Elixir for arrows right away, so our Spear Goblins pretty much just did work. Went in for the NATO 2 to kill the Lava Pups and everything. He got quite a bit of damage though, even with no Balloon connection, so wasn't feeling too good, just had to go aggressive again with the Honor Wall Wallers. Was thinking he might either Barbs or arrows. He decided to go in for the arrows, so I just played the Spear Goblins, forcing at least something. But then yeah, he Lava Hound the back. I pressured him a bit, wanted him to play the Barbs so I could get a good bomb tower on the right side but still reach the Barbs on the left side. And luckily he was forced to play them. Just went in for the Monner early, didn't want to bomb tower too early, otherwise I knew he would get a really good Fireball. Unfortunately kind of had to go for it eventually. And he got a really good Fireball, but bomb tower still got pretty good value. And here I thought I had it on the defense, but he stopped the Wall Breakers just in time and Skelly Drag got on. Went in for the NATO. But then, I looked on the right side, I was looking on the left side, then I looked on the right side, I saw Evo Knight took his entire tower, somehow, but then I beat him, in a bad matchup like that. RoyaleApi isn't always fully accurate, but look at this matchup, man, 79-21 in his favor, and we still won. By the way guys, if I sound a bit different today, it's probably because I ran a bit over 9 miles today, right after CRL in the heat. I don't know why, but I somehow kind of lost my voice from it. I don't think I'm sick or anything though. I was going for a half marathon, but I got injured a few days before I was planning to run it, so had to be a bit careful, and I started feeling my injury area starting to just feel strange when I was around 8 or so miles in, so unfortunately couldn't complete it, but I think I will do a full official half marathon race in maybe 2 weeks or so, maybe 3, I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, I decided to play Logbait against Mohamed Light since he wasted his Log and Barbril in his earlier decks, but he decided to play Logbait against me too. I went for the Barbs way up high. Unfortunately, he played the ability really early, decided to go for the Goblin Gang down low, but I just didn't expect him to play the ability so early with the Mighty Monner, so I played the Goblin Gang maybe a little bit later than I should have, and it allowed him to get the nice prediction arrows. I think if I was maybe a split second faster, I could have played the Goblin Gang way up high and avoided that, but yeah, that pretty much just messed up the game for me. It was pretty much a mirror matchup. He had the Mighty Monner though, which may have given him the bit of an edge in the matchup because the Mighty Monner gives you the 3-card cycle, which really helps out in mirror matchups like these ones. You can outcycle your opponent a lot better, but I still think I could have won if I was a bit quicker there with my Goblin Gang up high. Anyways, I pretty much lost from here, had no way to come back, so I'll see you guys in the next match. Me and Mohamed Light both have a coach, but unfortunately my coach told me to play Hog EQ with the mortar, and I accidentally selected Minor Wall Breakers with the bats. The reason being is that we normally organize our decks by putting the win condition first, so it's really easy to tell what deck is which while selecting the decks in the in-game duel, but now with Evo's evolutions, for those of you who don't know, you have to put the Evo in the first slot of your deck, so it makes it a lot more confusing while you're picking your decks and you have just a few seconds between games in CRL. And I picked the wrong deck. When I saw that it would be a Minor Wall Breakers mirror matchup, wasn't too happy about it since this guy has a lot of top 1 finishes with Minor Wall Breakers and Minor Cycle. He got a really good NATO there. I knew I had to punish him. Just wanted to see what he would do, then I went in for the Minor plus bats. I knew he would Spear Goblins. I almost wanted to pre-log, but it just decided to wait a second and got still a pretty good log. I knew he had nothing for the Wall Breakers. I needed to get my Spear Goblins down just to counter that one Wall Breaker of his. We got a double connection. You see, he made a really good play with the Magic Archer NATO, but it may have actually not been as good as it looked because then we got all that damage back and more by punishing him pretty easily. Went in for the Knight in the back. Was able to catch his Minor. Had to bats for the Gentleman. He was being pretty aggressive. I went in for the Minor. Had no better play to make. Didn't want to lose half my tower from the Knight, giving the Magic Archer a free lineup on the tower. I was pretty happy going same lane in this matchup, but I will say this matchup is pretty difficult. It's actually a bit in Minor Magic Archer's favor, according to most of the top coaches when I was practicing especially. They were saying that. I thought we could get a wall breaker connection after we played that tornado, but he just barely got the log down in time. I almost wanted to Evo Knight the bridge and just spam him, but I decided to save my elixir since it was already double elixir. I knew that we just needed to wait a second. Then I decided to spam my Evo Knight anyways at the bridge and go for the bats too. You guys can see how well we're using the bats in this matchup. Went in for the Spear Goblins and somehow the Magic Archer retargeted. I don't know what happened at all. Went in for the Bomb Tower, kind of had to. Was pretty scared at this point that he would Magic Archer, so had to wall wallers. They usually don't go in for the Magic Archer, but you always have to predict it, because if you miss one time, then bye-bye to your tower. He actually messed up the Magic Archer, just about as accurate of a Magic Archer as a Goblin would play. Went in for the Bomb Tower like this just to defend everything easily and not give him any chance to get a Magic Archer connection on the tower. He was already up in damage though at this point, so I knew I needed to make some crazy play or just get to my Evo Knight, so I started stacking the Knight in the back, even though it's kind of a hazard in this matchup since it gives them the free Magic Archer lineup potential. Went in for the Minor in the safe spot since he wasted his Knight. He went in really aggressive, but he completely messed up. Completely messed up. And we had some double Gentleman action going on. I knew this was now or never. I needed to go in. I went in for the Minor in the safe spot since he wasted his Knight. I knew he had no catch to it. Just went in for the poison on the Spear Goblins. Needed to get that chip damage. Forced out his defensive Minor. Was a pretty bad tornado by him. And he messed up the wall wallers, so Knight got on tower. We still needed some damage though. I knew he would have to bomb tower onto the wall wallers. But he had no elixir, so we actually beat Mohamed Light in a Minor mirror matchup. Then I had another Logbait deck, this time with Rage and also Prince in it. This deck can be pretty risky, but if it works, it just works so well sometimes. It's really a very momentum-based deck. When I saw the Ghost, I knew it would either be RG or Goblin Show, but Fisherman confirmed it would be RG. Was pretty scared actually, because we have no building in this deck, so it's kind of just impossible to fully defend an RG. Just had to figure out what spells he had to quickly try to pressure him as much as possible. Went in for the kind of high Dart Goblin, didn't want to give him really good fireball value or anything like that. He decided to miss his Barbarian Barrel. Went in for the pre-rage on the Skeletons, caught them perfectly. You know, people say, oh, Riley wasn't in CRL this month. He was right there, bro. He was right there helping me destroy those towers. That Goblin was going crazy. And yeah, Mohamed Light went pretty aggressive. Probably not the best RG by him, to be honest with you. I let the Ghost connect on the tower just to get our Bandit with full HP. I knew he would get good RG damage on the left side anyways. And I knew this would be a one tower match, probably, so yeah, didn't really care. Thief was going crazy, robbing every store, but then it went to the wrong side. But it was still pretty good. I was still somewhat happy with it. This Logbait deck is a pretty heavy double lane pressure deck, so you do usually want to have damage on both sides. I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing my voice right now. Anyways, I was pretty scared still because I knew he would have his Evo RG ready at any moment. I just went in for the Goblin Barrel, kind of on the inside trying to juke the Barbarian Barrel. He decided not to even play it. I knew he might try to go in for the RG, so I was preparing. Went in for the Bandit just to stop the Fisherman from pulling our Dart Man. Just split the Rascals in the back. It's a pretty good play. You pretty much just block up both lanes for quite some time and get some good field control. That's really the key of this matchup, just getting really good field control. Wasn't really too sure what would happen here. I knew that if he played perfect defense, he might beat us, but I knew that if he made any mistake, we could get a lot of damage and potentially win. But we have no big spell in this deck, so I needed to get his full tower to be confident. Went in for the Bandit in the back. Was playing pretty slow, you guys can see. The thing is, he can always get really easy damage with his RG, but if you stack up the lanes really well, then they can't really ever RG anyways, so it kind of works out well. Luckily, the Rascal Girl on the right side actually survived the Ghost Splash. Dark Goblin was carrying completely. Then I started to go really aggressive, just because I felt like it. That's pretty much it. Then went in for the Goblin Barrel Goblin Gang. I knew he would have to, well, probably Barbaro the right side, I thought, but we still got good value since he didn't, with that Dark Goblin just going crazy on the tower. Went in for the Prince to protect our Princess, let the Princess on the right side die. And yeah, I was feeling pretty good. I knew I just had to really keep up the pressure, and even though we were winning, I knew I had to not let my spam down at all. Went in for kind of a juke barrel. He actually wasted his bar barrel. Would have been good if I played my barrel right on the tower, but didn't expect him to waste the Barbarian Barrel like that. I knew he might try to go in for the RG. So I went in for the Prince on this side and then Rascals. I knew he would try to get a really good fireball, so I was pretty scared at this point that we might lose our whole tower. Pretty bad bar barrel. He got a not half bad E-Spirit, but then Prince got on the tower and took the W. Guys, I'm so proud of myself. I feel like I played so much better than ever this month in CRL. In the top 32 stage, I was in the group with Mohamed Light, pretty much one of the hardest because Mohamed Light has gotten top 1 in CRL every time he's played this year. So I was up against all odds. I just wanted to be the guy to end his streak. I did get a 66% win rate against Mohamed Light in duel sets in the last couple of days. I beat him 2 out of 3 duel sets, which is pretty impressive. I'm pretty happy with that. And yeah, man, if I face Mohamed Light next month in the top 32 stage 2, I'm gonna beat him regardless. Anyways, I ended up finishing top 16, which I'm pretty happy with. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!